Are you stuck at home on a Saturday night with nothing to do again?
I can't take it anymore!
Then join me, my co-hosts, and my guests every Saturday evening for Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
Okay.
Together we'll discuss the big news of the week from entertainment and politics, talk about the issues that are on your mind, and hey, we'll even talk about general stupidity and jackassery from the American right.
You stupid jackass!
So join me every Saturday evening, 6 to 9 p.m. Central at my Ustream home, Mic Check Radio. Come on in, it'll be loads of fun.
Gee, I sure hope there's a happy ending. I love a happy ending.
Live on all the interwebs and internets, it's Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
Fuck yeah!
All right, it is another glorious Saturday, and in case you can't tell, I'm really happy. We get to break some really big news today. I am the first person that I know of among my peers to break this news in this format. But before that, we have a special co-host tonight. I invited a mutual friend of mine and Wes's, another Wes Smith. So let's get him on. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Wes Smith, you are live on Mic Check Radio. Thank you for joining me. I was just explaining that you and I, you're a mutual friend of myself and Wes, a.k.a. Tooser. Thank you for agreeing to join me. I figured you'd like to give it a go. You seemed interested, so I figured, what the hell, let's give it a shot. But tonight's your lucky night. We get to break some really big news. Are you excited about that?
Oh, no kidding.
I mean, this is huge. This is the proverbial it. Okay. So let's just announce. I don't want to wait. It's obvious what we're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, Mitt Romney has announced his vice presidential pick, and it is Wisconsin Representative Paul Ryan. And let me tell you, I am happy as a clam. Paul Ryan is the perfect face for this campaign. This is a man who basically is all about fuck the poor, give the rich everything. Would you agree on that, Wes?
Paul Ryan?
Yes, did I say Rand Paul?
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry. Paul Ryan, yeah. I mean, isn't this...
Yeah, Paul Ryan is the very incarnation of everything that Obama has been painting Mitt Romney as.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect. And, this is actually really good for us as, for the liberals because, again, first of all, he is the perfect face of the modern-day Republican Party. And, hold on, I'm going to scoot a bit to the side. And second of all, we get to show the extremism of the Republican Party that has been part of it since the 1980s. Paul Ryan has described himself as a disciple of Ayn Rand, and we're not going to talk heavily about Ayn Rand this week because I'm actually in the process of trying to book someone who did a commercial about her extremism, but we will briefly touch on her because, again, that is extremely important, and people need to realize that this woman is the ideological foundation of the modern-day Republican Party. The whole thing about conservative Christians, I'd hate to break it to you guys, and by guys I mean the conservative Christians, the GOP is not that into you. They see you as a bunch of convenient chumps. They're never going to ban abortion. They're never going to ban gay marriage because there's just too much money in it. They're playing you all for fools, and you're dumb enough, you prove them right time and time again. Anywho.
Time and time again.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad. I feel kind of bad for them because they're just so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, something like 6 of the last 8 presidents have been Republicans, and we still have Roe versus Wade,
Yeah.
We still have everything that they get into office saying they're going to get rid of, all still here. The only thing they ever get done is what benefits, the richest Americans. Just a coincidence, apparently.
Exactly. There's too much money to be raised off of abortion. They never ever want to see abortion become legal. They never want to see Roe v. Wade become overturned, because they know as soon as Roe v. Wade is overturned, the next Congress, the next president, the next Senate are all going to be Democrats. They know that.
Yeah. I mean, your average voter, honestly, but your average Republican voter doesn't know anything about the deficit or anything. They know what feels wrong, and that's things like abortion. So if abortion's off the table, they're going to stop caring,
Anyway, what we're gonna do is we're gonna break that news right now. Paul Ryan is the vice presidential pick, but we're gonna save most discussion about that for when Wes gets here. At the top of the second hour, we will be having my friend War, unless he authorizes me to give his actual name, I won't. But he is, even though I usually call on him for stuff regarding video games and anime, he is a registered Republican. He describes himself as socially liberal, fiscally conservative, which the problem is that you can't buy one and not the other. You're buying a whole package. If you vote Republican, you're voting for all the policy. And I keep trying to tell him this. You may consider yourself personally socially liberal, but the Republican Party isn't. And the more Republicans you put in Congress, the more power you give to the Republican Party to shove stuff like, so, and, we're going to have him on to get his reaction to the Paul Ryan pick. I'll tell you what, I've been seeing my conservative friend Brad Crow post just these stupid things, like he said he had this cartoon that showed Barack Obama accusing Mitt Romney of murder, and everyone knows that's not what that commercial was saying. It was basically saying that because of Mitt Romney's actions and closing that plant, he didn't murder the wife of that worker. No one's accusing him of that. But what we are saying is his actions, his greed, contributed to her death. That is not the same as accusing someone of murder, Mr. Richards.
Yeah, it's asking them to analyze their own, the consequences of the things they put into action, but apparently that's a bridge too far.
Exactly. They never think about they only go by what feels right to them.
Yeah.
They want more guns. And if that means more dead bodies on the street, so what? I got my guns. I have my phallic replacement. That's, because that's what it's about. Don't tell me otherwise. It's all about, at least on the right, they have issues. They have teeny tiny penises, and they have to compensate that with big guns. And actually, speaking of guns, we will be discussing the Sikh temple shooting briefly. And I have some, this is a little old, but I have some audio from Antonin Scalia, who is a favorite target of mine because I'm of Italian descent and he's of Italian descent. And, we have to discuss this. This is big audio, but we'll cut the music for now. That's, of course, Al Capone's theme from The Untouchables. But we'll be talking, oh yeah, because I mean, the worst kept secret is the man's mobbed up. Everyone knows it. The guy, we're going to talk. Well, let's get started because we don't have a super lot in this. What? Where are my? Oh crap! I did not do my bookmarks. We're going to start with this story. Damn. For all, everyone knows about the Catholic Church is having a cow about this rule that says birth control and preventive care. Wes, you may want to turn your mic down. I am getting some feedback. Thank you. damn, where was I? They're basically having a cow, and they sue the Obama administration over this rule, saying, "Oh, it infringes on our First Amendment right to free." No one is saying, look, if there was a requirement that everyone use birth control, then yes, that would be a First Amendment issue. If you don't want to use a condom, don't use a fucking condom. But don't tell me my insurance plan can't cover that because it offends you.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the argument of the 60s, the rest of the country is so far past this. It's just stunning that that 25% of the country wants to talk about it,
Well, and I've seen a political cartoon stating as such. Oh dear. Okay, I sent myself the wrong copy of my show prep. Excuse me, but here's the thing. Of course. No, I didn't send myself the wrong show prep. Basically, the cardinal who runs the New York diocese, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, or Dolan, I don't know about the pronunciation. This is one of the people suing the Obama administration, and he has invited President Obama to the annual Alfred E. Smith Memorial Foundation charity dinner on October 18th. Now, he went in the 2008 campaign, and you know what, I'm going to admit this. Both he and John McCain were actually really funny at that dinner. I'm going to give John McCain some props. The man has a different style of humor than Barack Obama. His is more of a dry humor, but he was legitimately funny. Now here's
I completely agree.
Here's what pisses me off about this. The man has the nerve to sue President Obama and say, "Would you please lend us your legitimacy?" And he said Romney has accepted, and it's been indicated President Obama has accepted, but here's what the article says. Despite his differences with Obama, Dolan held to the tradition of inviting the president because this is not a partisan event. Well, jackass, he should have thought about that before suing him over BS reasons. I'm going to be honest. If I were the president and they did this to me, I would tell them, kiss the fattest, most liberal Italian American part of my fat, white, liberal Italian ass. I mean, seriously, who does this guy think he is?
It's an essential disconnect with the whole abortion argument for me. So I don't understand how, if you sincerely believe that this is a human life that is being murdered, that is being snuffed out, how you could possibly separate that into a partisan thing, how it could be so separated from a moral thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand how, if you truly believe that Barack Obama is financing the murder of people, how you could sit at a table with him. It doesn't make sense. It's completely cynical.
Well, and like I said, the fact of the matter is that again, I understand that this isn't a partisan event. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it takes a lot of nerve to sue the President of the United States and then turn around and say, would you please, again, this is lending them his legitimacy as far as I am personally concerned. And it's just insulting for them to say, first of all, they are blatantly lying about the president. That's first.
Yeah.
Second of all, they're suing him. Generally, you're not supposed to hang out with the people who are suing you.
Yeah,
crazy.
Good point.
I'm sure there's some legal issues with that, but I don't know. It's just like, I don't know.
I will also say Barack Obama has a bad habit of lending legitimacy to the right that they have not earned.
Well, yeah. I mean, how much did he try to bend over backwards?
The first 2 years of his administration,
exactly.
At least.
Exactly. This bullshit about him not, working with Republicans, it's just that. It's bullshit.
Yeah, completely. I mean,
look at me, I'm spitting
no
into my
one
microphone.
has... Sorry?
I said, look at me, I'm spitting into my microphone.
Oh, I was worried something was wrong with my mic.
Oh, no,
but
no,
yeah,
no,
I mean...
No, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. Just say whatever you want. Say what's on your mind.
Just nobody has... no politician in my lifetime, since I've been paying attention at least, since, maybe 16, 17, I've never seen a politician who attempted to be more accommodating of his opponents, especially considering the way they just came out against him from the get-go. I mean, as soon as it looked like he was going to make any ground in 2008, I mean, when did the birther stuff start? I mean, it was early, and I don't understand how you could even look the people responsible for that kind of slander against you in the eye, much less try to accommodate him. I guess that's why he's the president, whatever. I mean, he's an exceptional man, but yeah, I mean, 2 years of just trying to destroy him, and now they want to say that he refuses to work with them. It's completely, it's insanity.
They sit here and they talk about, Mitch McConnell came out after the 2010 midterms and said, our number one political goal has got to be destroying President Obama's presidency. My words, not Mitch McConnell's. That's not behavior I would expect from patriots. It's one thing to say
just
I
an
disagree.
Unprecedented thing to say, just completely unprecedented.
It's one thing to say I disagree with the president on this issue, therefore I will not be voting for this bill. It's another thing to say we are not. They made a decision. A few weeks ago, I played a clip where one of them said, "We would rather cause quote unquote short-term pain to the American people than have them bear the long-term pain of another 4 years of President Obama." Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, this is audio clip. You know what? I should have pulled this up. They are willing to make you suffer so they can have power. They don't want to fix things. They've had every chance to work with this president to do so. They want power. And if
how fucking arrogant is that? Serious, like to think you know that the short-term pain is warranted. I mean, yeah, we're the ivory tower looking down on the common people somehow, not them.
They are willing to make us suffer so they can have power.
Yeah.
And it's sad, it's pathetic. I'm just I'm sick and tired of lies.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There comes a time, again, thank you, Mr. President, for trying to work with these people, but there comes a point when you say, they're not going to work with me, I'm going to go it alone. And that's what they basically did with the healthcare bill. Now, why didn't he do that with anything else? How many times does he have to get screwed before he realizes this isn't going to work?
It's a very good question. I mean, I think where the Democrats are now with things like, Harry Reid's allegation about Mitt Romney's tax returns and just the general playbook the Democrats are using now, I don't think they're holding any illusions anymore about the Republicans' willingness to work with them. They're certainly moving into more volatile political ground pretty willingly of late, I would say.
Well, and, again, I have no problem working with Republicans. I do, however, have a problem with Republicans basically saying we're not going to do anything. They've said if the economy improves, we lose. They know that, which is why they won't touch any bills that they know might actually help the economy. That's why they drag their feet on the roads bill. I forget, was it the transportation department budget or the authorization, whatever.
It's everything.
They knew that bill went through, that would keep people on the jobs and provide a minuscule boost to the economy. And even a minuscule boost disproves their hypothesis. Well, it's already been disproven, but that, you know, the government can't do anything right, blah, 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 blah. You know, so Wes, do you have any thoughts about this? Oh, wait, we gotta talk about the, let's talk briefly about the, Sikh temple shooting. Because this ties into something I've been saying online for a long time. And of course, this show is still relatively young. We are in the middle of our 3rd month on the air. We will be 3 months on the air September 1st. But I have always said that there is domestic terrorism, and that by and large it is mostly from the right wing. Timothy McVeigh was a right winger. Eric Robert Rudolph, who bombed the Olympics, was a right winger. Most of these people were right wings. Anytime religious extremism is part of someone's philosophy, that is a product of conservatism.
Yeah.
Fascism.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I agree completely.
Fascism.
And I don't think it's unfair to say so. It's so when you make that argument, you so often get from, you know, fairly reasonable Republicans who get, well, how can you say that about us? And it's like, I'm not saying that about you. I'm talking about people who were once where you are, perhaps, but have now gone far afield, you know, have gone way past you.
If we point out Hitler's philosophies were based in conservatism, that is not saying, that is not saying all conservatives are like Hitler. That is just pointing out that the seeds of his hatred came from stuff preached by conservatism. Remember this.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, Hitler 1933 was very different than Hitler 1943. You know, very different set of things going on.
It's like, you know, Hitler, the idea for the Holocaust came because Hitler was raised Catholic, and he heard all these lies about the Jewish people. They killed our Lord, blood libel, stuff like that, and he was like, okay, let's just kill all the Jews. And of course, I'm dumbing it down a bit, but that's basically where he got the idea. Before he began the Holocaust, he went to the Vatican and asked for the Pope's blessing, and the Pope gave it. This isn't
and the
me
current
lying.
Pope took part. No, I shouldn't say that.
No, it's perfectly fair to point it out. No, John Ratzinger was a Nazi.
Yeah, Pope he was. Really was.
I call him Pope is a dick because he is a dick. The man was a Nazi. It's not unfair to point that out, okay? Because remember, what's the number one way that Republicans bash George Soros? He worked with Nazis. The kid was 12 and his godfather took him around doing his duties. Whereas John Ratzinger was in his late teens and was one step away from throwing Jews into the oven. Back in 2009, the Department of Homeland Security... Sorry. How's the level on that? Is it back? Can you hear me over the...
It could go down a little.
Let's try. How's that?
I'd say down a little more.
I think that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Back in 2009, the Department of Homeland Security reported that white supremacy is the U.S.'s biggest threat for domestic terror, and it was met with harsh criticism. Conservatives blasted the department for defining terror threats too broadly instead of focusing on potential Islamic terrorists. So basically, if it's not brown skin and speaks Arabic, it can't be terrorism, is what the Republicans said.
Yeah, it's easy to recognize, you know, so
they
focus on that.
They browbeat the administration until the Secretary of Homeland Security, Janet Napolitano, withdrew the report. Guess what? They were right. We saw that proven last week.
Absolutely.
I am so sick and tired of these high and mighty. Oh, you're a kiss. No, we're saying that it's your side that produces these wackos.
Yeah,
Timothy
that doesn't
McVeigh
make
was a-
you one of them, but you produce them. Absolutely, I agree completely.
You want me
You
to
know,
stop? Stop creating the Timothy McVeighs of the world. It's that
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah, stop. Your leadership needs to quit going so far out into right field that these people get produced. You know, that's the problem. Our leadership doesn't do that. Our leadership doesn't produce, eco-terrorists and the handful of left-wing terrorists that there are in the world are not produced by American Democrats. But these right-wing terrorists are just completely, they're stoked by the Republican leadership entirely.
All right, that's a good place to stop. We're going to go to break. This is Mike Check Radio. I'm Adam Ebert. Joining me as a super special co-host for the entire show, Wes Smith. Wes Karskadin will be in sometime in hour 2, and the girls from Alien Adoptables will be here at the third hour to discuss the fundraiser that I've been pushing. This is Mike Check Radio. We'll see you at the top of this hour.
This is Mike Check Radio with Adam Hebert. this is Kenny Pick from Turn Up the Night. Here are some of the hijinks you can expect from my show. We just got done listening to several clips about the Romney fundraisers over the weekend, and I invented the murder finger. It's an offspring of the murder fist. It just happens to be the murder fist with the middle finger extended.
Well, I'm ahead of you because I've had a hate finger for many years.
Hate finger.
Hate finger. The man with the malcontent touch. Yes.
Turn Up the Night with Kenny Pick, streaming live every Tuesday and Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern at Radio or Not, Talk Radio 1, Progressive Blend Radio, and KennyPick.com.
This is Jackson Brown, and you're listening to The Nicole Sandler Show.
This is Melissa Etheridge, and you're listening to my friend, Nicole Sandler.
Hey, this is Rob with Matchbox 20.
Hey, this is Chris Isaac.
Hi, this is Suzanne Vega.
Hey, this is Trey Anastasio, and you're listening to
my friend Nicole Sandler.
Bare Naked Ladies, you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
What's up? This is Howie Day, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
Hey, this is Henry.
And I'm JoJo. And I'm Ringo. And we're Los Lonely Boys, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
This is Kelly from Stereophonics, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
This is Evan Dando of the Lemonheads, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
Hi, my name's Jonathan Brooke, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
This is Pat Monahan from the band Train, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
This is Ziggy Marley, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
Hey, this is Pete Yorn, and you're listening to Nicole Sandler.
You're lovely.
Nicole Sandler.
Nicole Sandler. Nicole is awesome.
The Nicole Sandler Show at RadioOrNot.com. Music to my ears.
This is Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
And we are back. My apologies. Almost had a major catastrophe there. I had something queued up with my break that was 6 minutes long. It's a good thing I caught there. We would have major trouble. Wes, are you still there?
I believe so.
Okay, good. Okay, and we have one viewer, you, and 3 guests. I'm pretty sure the 3 guests are our regulars. We're still working on developing a listenership. It's kind of frustrating, but we'll see what we can do.
All good things in time.
Yeah. Well, good things come to those who wait. Anywho, I'm sorry, I just have to get my thoughts. So last segment, we talked about the Catholic Church, basically. Jesus Christ. Like I said, I have no problem with political differences. My issue is, it just strikes me as kind of hypocritical for them to basically, to sue the president and say, please come to this event. That's my main issue. It just... Hello. Why do I have... Oh, okay. You're using a camera, but I don't think you can see my camera. But
I was a misclick, sorry.
Oh no. It's fine. It's just my camera can't be shared. I've actually been thinking about what so I can communicate directly with my host without being, without hearing. I've been thinking about getting a second camera that's just for Skype, so I can flash you guys messages. But anywho, let's get down to this. I sent you the show prep packet. I want to talk about Brian Fisher, who has been nominated numerous times for Asshole of the Week and hasn't won yet. Now, we all know, generally, conservative Christians seem to think that they have the monopoly on morality, that they can't do anything wrong because we've been forgiven by Jesus. So, screw you. This week, this came out, and it really pissed me off. And the article is, Brian Fisher doubles down on anarchy. Court custody rulings are, quote, judicial kidnapping, unquote. This is, if we accept what he is saying, that's basically anarchy. And unfortunately I couldn't find audio. This was on Twitter. This is a reaction to tweets. But American Family Association spokesman Brian Fisher took to Twitter again to double down on his claims that an underground railroad is necessary to kidnap children away from same-sex parents. that's kidnapping. I'm sorry, Mr. Fisher. That's a crime. If you do that, you go to jail. Regardless.
Oh no, Mitch Daniels told us last week that's not illegal. Remember?
I missed that one. I would have got.
Or no, it wasn't Mitch Daniels. It was what's his name, the guy that looks like him, that Tea Party asshole.
I no, I don't care. It's kidnapping. Because you know what? By that logic, I can say, okay, I have a responsibility to save all the children growing up in these idiotic Christian households, so I can kidnap them and say, I'm just saving them.
Yeah, because I consider that child abuse. Yeah, no kidding.
Well, you know what's good? As Mitt Romney would say, what's sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. But you know, this is the sort of crap that you hear from the right wing, which is basically laws don't apply to us. You know, it is basically, you know, screw you. We're going to do what we think is best, and the law doesn't apply to us. And this behavior from from the Republicans and Mr. Fisher is particularly disturbing. Now, this view of an underground railroad stems from the Lisa Miller case, and Lisa Miller is a lesbian. She claims to be ex-gay. I don't buy it. Or she was never gay at all. But damn, I'm sorry. Basically, okay, I'm missing something, I'm sorry. Fisher is arguing that court rulings that recognize same-sex unions constitute judicial kidnapping. What he's saying is, there's no kidnapping in Lisa Miller case. She left the U.S. to keep her natural biological daughter from being kidnapped. All caps, because conservatives don't know how to use the fucking caps lock key. In the Lisa Miller case, I'm advocating against judicial kidnapping in favor of keeping the daughter with her own mother. In the Lisa Miller case, lesbian who wanted sole custody of the daughter had no legal or biological relationship to the girl. If any kidnapping involved in Lisa Miller case, it's judges stealing a child from her mother and giving it to a stranger. And of course, Brian Fisher has his facts wrong. While it's true that the child has no biological relation to the other woman, and that Miller was her mother, Janet Jenkins, the other woman in this case, was legally listed as her mother. The girl referred to her as Mama, and eventually, what happened was, Janet Jenkins and Lisa Miller dissolved their union, and a court in Vermont where they lived granted Jenkins visitation rights, as is proper, because she was legally the child's mother as well. And Miller tried to move to Virginia, which does not recognize Vermont civil unions, and she got the court to block Jenkins from visiting for 2 years. However, the Virginia Supreme Court eventually ruled that Vermont still had jurisdiction, that basically you can't take a child over state lines to avoid a legal order, in this case, visitation rights. And they said you have to let her visit, the court order is legal, and Miller said, nope, I'm not going to let her do it, and a Vermont judge held Miller in contempt. And so she fled with her daughter to Central America through a covert network of Mennonites. So this is actually a criminal conspiracy. As far as I'm concerned, I'm no lawyer, but this looks to me like a widespread criminal conspiracy. Wes, do you have any opinion?
Well, it seems to me that two separate states made a decision based on, their own laws and in accordance with those state rights that Republicans always get so horny over until they don't agree with them. Suddenly, it's judicial overreach or whatever the buzzword of the week is.
And the fact of the matter is, these were legal orders. The court said you cannot stop. She was legally the mother. Mm-hmm. Biology is part of it, but legally she was listed as child's mother, and therefore she could not. They ruled the court order from Vermont, was legal, and that you can't go over state lines in an attempt to flee a legitimate court ruling.
Yeah, and this is kind of the latest in a series of these Republicans holding up people who flee the country because of laws they don't agree with as somehow being heroes and patriots. This has been a thing lately for some reason.
Yeah. Look, the fact matters, if you do that, that's kidnapping, and if this woman gets caught, she needs to be thrown in jail. She needs to be thrown in jail for the rest of her life.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sorry. And everyone, what they need to do is or here's what they do. They say, you give us the names of everyone who helped you, we'll let you off with probation. And then everyone who helped her gets thrown in jail for life. This is kidnapping. This is criminal conspiracy. Someone needs to pay.
Yeah.
Anywho, at the risk of sounding a little bipolar, we need to move on because we're a little bit behind. I want to talk about Antonin. 1 second. Let's talk about Antonin Scalia. The bottom line is, everyone knows that Antonin Scalia is no fan. He's a gun nut. Cut the music. And in the wake of the shooting in Colorado, again, this is about 2 weeks old, but it's still relevant considering the shooting at the Sikh temple last weekend. He had, and I'm going to play the full clip. I couldn't find a way to cut it without losing something, and I'm not a right-winger, so I do full context. This is Antonin Scalia on First Amendment, or Second Amendment rights.
Question: how far does that constitutional right go? Can a legislature ban semi-automatic weapons, or can it ban magazines that carry 100 rounds without violating an individual's constitutional right to bear arms?
What the opinion in Heller said is that it will have to...
Just a quick, by Heller he means the decision to overturn D.C.'s law banning handguns. Moving on.
...be decided in future cases. What limitations upon the right to keep and bear arms are permissible. Some undoubtedly are, because there were some that were acknowledged at the time. For example, there was a tort called affrighting, which if you carried around a really horrible weapon just to scare people, like a head axe or something, that was, I believe, a misdemeanor. So, yes, there are some limitations that can be imposed. What they are will depend on what the society understood were reasonable limitations at the time. There were certain location limitations.
What about these technological limitations? Obviously, we're not now talking about a handgun or a musket. We're talking about a weapon that can fire 100 shots in a minute.
We'll see. I mean, obviously the amendment does not apply to arms that cannot be hand carried. It's to keep and bear, so it doesn't apply to cannons. But I suppose there are handheld rocket launchers that can bring down airplanes that will have to be it'll have to be decided.
How do you decide that if you're a tech?
All right, we don't need to hear the rest of that. He's basically saying, folks, you have a constitutional right to keep and bear a rocket launcher. And you know what else you have the right to? Nuclear weapons. Because guess what? The U.S. during the Cold War designed and deployed a handheld nuclear weapon system. It was the Davy Crockett system. According to Antonin Scalia, You have the right to one of those. You have the right to nuclear arms, according to this man's interpretation of the Constitution. Is anyone going to seriously tell me there's not something wrong with this man?
Tony Soprano without the charm.
Actually, I took a Bill of Rights class last semester, and we heard oral arguments, and he is actually a very witty man. I told my teacher after the class, I said, I feel so bad. I hate Antonin Scalia, and he made me laugh. I feel dirty. But, I mean, Jesus Christ. This is why we need to have a sensible... We can't have... we can't talk to conservatives. Excuse me. You can't have an adult conversation with conservatives because to them it's black and white, which is why...
it's the most sensitive topic in America. I agree completely.
No, I'm saying, earlier we were saying that if you point out Hitler's ideas were derived from conservatism, he was a conservative, all of a sudden they're up in arms saying, how dare you accuse me of being like Hitler? It's because I've said this for a long time, Wes, maybe you've seen me say it. Conservatism is a mild, this is my personal theory, it's a very mild form of mental disease. If you look at the behavior of general conservatives, of the Tea Party, of Paul Ryan, of Mitt Romney, every prominent conservative nowadays, they all have characteristics common to sociopathy. Look at George W. Bush. The guy is killing people in Iraq, and he's giggling and laughing and telling jokes. That's classic sociopath behavior.
They did a study, an extensive study, just after World War II, when we were actually scared of people being fascists. They did a study where they analyzed, how, people got on the path to fascism, how this horrible thing that had just happened came about, and they found that certain people just have more of a tolerance for authoritarianism. They just tend to agree with things like, a strong leader is you need a strong leader who appeals to the family and religion and voices certain things, and they proved scientifically that there's a correlation between this susceptibility to authoritarianism and fascism. They proved that. That's, just after World War II.
Yeah, well, and like I said, that backs up what I'm saying, that conservatism is very mild form of mental illness, sociopathy, because they exhibit behaviors associated with it. So I don't see anything wrong with saying that. I'm sorry. Am I saying all conservatives are like John Wayne Gacy? No, but I'm saying that they have those characteristics, and obviously the more of those characteristics you have, the closer to Timothy McVeigh you get. But they see the world in black and white. They don't see shades of gray. So any restriction on guns is a full-on infringement of their right to bear arms.
Yeah, I can't count how many times I've been told, liberals want to ban guns. Find me one Democrat, other than maybe like Dennis Kucinich, who wants guns gone. And I'm not even sure that he does, to be honest. You can't say sensible gun control. You can't even say those words without an automatic assumption that you hate firearms and you think they should be completely illegal in all instances. And I mean, this is how conservatives argue. Let's be frank. This is just a good example of it.
Right. Well, let's talk about another fundamental right. And conservatives put the mental and fundamental. And this is the right to vote. I don't know if you've heard about this, but Mitt Romney recently accused President Obama of suing Ohio to keep veterans from being able to vote. And of course, this is a lie. All he is doing is saying you cannot restrict early voting to one constituency, especially when that one constituency tends to vote for you. And of course, there are other aspects of this plan that are horrible. For example, the Republicans have drawn resources for early voting out of Democratic districts to shift those towards Republican districts. Once again, remember, last month, folks, I played that clip from Mike Turzai in Pennsylvania. Voter ID, gonna get Mitt Romney, Pennsylvania, done. Remember that. They know they can't win if it's a fair game. So they have to rig it. And here is David Axelrod talking to Mike Wallace on Fox News about Ohio. Take a listen.
Okay, lightning round. Lightning round. That means quick. Your campaign is suing the state of Ohio for giving members of the military extra time to vote early, till the Monday before the election, while other voters are going to have only until Friday. You don't think that members of the military who are serving this country deserve special consideration to vote?
I absolutely do, and the way you stated it and the way, frankly, Governor Romney has stated it is completely false and misleading. What that lawsuit calls for is not to deprive the military of the right to vote on the final weekend of the campaign. Of course they should have that right. What that suit is about is whether the rest of Ohio should have the same right. And I think it's shameful that Governor Romney would hide behind our servicemen and women to try and win a lawsuit to deprive other Ohioans of the right to vote.
15 military groups, including the National Guard Association and AMVETS, are also hiding behind the military then because they are on Romney's side in this case. Well, it's true, David, they are.
Well, let me finish. I understand that.
No, wait a minute. Let me finish.
What they need to understand, what every military
are on their side, and the federal law gives special consideration to the military on early voting. So why not let Ohio do it?
First of all, it's a lightning round, so ask your question and let me answer it. They need to know, they need to look at the lawsuit, and they need to know that that lawsuit, it stands up for the right of military's service people to vote early, but it wants that right for everybody in Ohio. I don't understand what it is about the Republican Party that they want to keep shrinking participation in our elections. That's not a very confident party to me. Why wouldn't they want to make it easier for every eligible voter to come to the polls and participate in that's what our servicemen and women are fighting for, our democracy, our freedom.
Lightning round.
Okay.
We're going to keep throwing this back at each other.
There you have it. They can't win if they play fair, so they have to rig the game. Period. End of discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, how much, they've said it. Voter ID is not designed to protect the integrity of the vote. It's designed to keep Democrats from exercising their right to vote.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about the Republicans? They know they can't win. They are going to try every dirty trick in the book this year to try and win this election. And if it's close, they will steal it. They know they've got the Supreme Court in their pocket. They know Roberts will join the conservative blocs to appoint Mitt Romney president. We could have another Bush v. Gore here, folks. Anywho, we are at the top of the we are at the bottom of the first hour. Hopefully Wes Karskadin will be here with us in the near future. We are probably going to be doing Asshole of the Week early. Just because we're having the girls from Alien Adoptables on, and I picked out some stories that are, for them, but I'm trying to avoid getting super political. So Wes Smith, how are you enjoying your first hour?
Invigorating.
Very good, very good. I'm gonna swap out our music for this break real quick. I don't like what I see. Damn. I'm trying to think what I want to hear. I'm sorry. Crap. Let's do a remix of from Legends of the Ocarina of Time. Anyway, we'll see you at the top of the next hour.
I'm sorry, what's that? I can't hear you over the sounds of my deafening awesomeness.
This is Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
Unfiltered truth, news, and opinion. Filter-free radio with Jacob Dean and Skeptical Scott.
There's protesters waking up and people are getting in the streets. People want the truth. People are becoming active because, quite frankly, people are fed up. And we see things like Occupy Wall Street and Occupy whatever have you. These independent, nonpartisan movements growing. The status quo is scared. There is fear amongst those in power, and they want to maintain their power.
Live every Monday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern.
They have to have Homeland Security keep tabs on Occupy Wall Street, or pass new bills that say it's illegal to protest, or suppress.
When these institutions no longer serve the function for which they were created, they are limited to force or fraud as the only means by which to keep people in check. And soon, force is all they have left, as people are starting to see through the fraud. So what are we going to do about it?
FilterFreeRadio.com.
You never know who or what you'll hear when you listen to the Nicole Sandler Show at RadioOrNot.com.
Bill Maher, you're here in Miami on Friday night. You're doing a show at the Fillmore at the Jackie Gleason Theater. They just renamed this theater the Fillmore.
Oh.
And they put up a couple of psychedelic posters. So I guess...
Is it the theater Jackie did his TV show for?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
What I hear they did is put up two of those old Bill Graham posters and renamed it.
Yeah, I can't think of two different icons of show business.
Yeah, really.
Bill Graham and Jackie Gleason.
Yeah, why they just didn't play up the Jackie Gleason aspect, I don't know. But then again, this is South Florida.
Right. Okay.
Welcome to it.
I feel warned.
The Nicole Sandler Show, live Monday through Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, or podcast anytime at RadioOrNot.com.
What the hell? Are you stuck at home on a Saturday night with nothing to do again?
Take it anymore!
Then join me, my co-hosts, and my guests every Saturday evening for Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert. Okay. Together we'll discuss the big news of the week from entertainment and politics, talk about the issues that are on your mind, and hey, we'll even talk about general stupidity and jackassery from the American right.
You stupid jackass!
So join me every Saturday evening, 6 to 9 p.m. Central at my Ustream home, Mic Check Radio. Come on in, it'll be loads of fun.
Gee, I sure hope there's a happy ending. I love a happy ending.
And now, live on your computer machine, it's Adam Hebert with Mic Check Radio.
Fuck yeah! Smarter than Savage and sexier than Limbaugh. This is Adam Hebert on Mic Check Radio.
And we are back. Let me double check, make sure Wes is still with us. Wes, are you still with us, sir?
I believe so.
Okay, good, because I was confused over the break. You were talking to someone I thought was me, but that's okay. It's not.
Shit, sorry.
No. I wasn't mad. I was just like, what? Review of what? You know, it's easy to confuse me. Anywho, no sign of Wes Carskaddon yet, but we are going to proceed and talk about the big news of the day, which is the announcement of Mitt Romney's running mate, Paul Ryan, representative of Wisconsin, douchebag. Well, I guess douchebag of Wisconsin is more appropriate for him. But let me tell you, this guy has some major issues, and you have no idea. You know, when I heard this news and I heard that they were going to announce it today, I was like, oh shit. At first, I was all happy because I was like, I get to scoop Kenny Pick, you know. And I was like, holy shit. I've got to find a Republican. I can't just do this. You know, I can't just do straight up liberal talk. I have to find a Republican. And I lucked out because one of my Republican friends was drunk last night. So I told him, why don't you come on and sell us on Paul Ryan. Sell me. I told him, I said, you do realize the chances of you getting one of us to vote. Oh, hey, Wes Carskaddon's on. Let's get him on quick.
I'll vote for that guy.
But no. Call failed. We'll try again in a minute. We'll let him call us. But no, I said, look, I need a Republican. I can't do this alone. The problem is that if I invited one of my other friends who are probably available, we would be hearing all propaganda. War is the old school sort of Republican. Fiscally conservative, socially liberal, blah, blah, blah. Wes Carskadden, are you there, sir?
I'm right here, yo.
Yeah, well, you know what that means, right?
That this show just got fucking awesome.
Well, we have 100% more Wes, but you getting here means, let's get you in the door first. We're gonna play your jingle. Here's your jingle.
People of Earth, your attention, please. Oh, yeah. Well, speak up!
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
It's the most badass co-host in Liberal Talk Radio, Wes Carskadden. A foul-mouthed, barrel-chested, beer-bellied pile of ugly muscle.
Holy shit, you geeks are badass.
I apologize for nothing.
You know how testosterone is.
As a bubbling crockpot of male hormones, I sure do.
And I actually worked on making those changes over the week. I toned down the background music a bit, and I think it's noticeable, but I think I'm going to have to tone it down just a tad more. What do you think?
It definitely sounds better. I don't know. Maybe try it and see what it sounds like.
Okay.
Well, I love that, though, because I feel like a professional wrestler every time I log on.
Well, let's get War. As I was telling Wes Smith, when the news broke last night that they were announcing the VP pick today for Mitt Romney, I was like, yes, I get to scoop Kenny Pick. I was so happy. And then the reality set, it's like, shit, I have to find a Republican.
I guess.
But as I was saying, I lucked out because one of my Republican friends was drunk, and I talked him into coming on the show, and we are adding him to the call right now. Be nice to him. He's not the insane kind of Republican. Let's see what he has to say. He is not answering. While we wait for War to pick up, we are War?
Yes?
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just saying while we were waiting to pick up, we were going to check on the chat room. But, let's do this all proper now. Welcome back, War. Thank you for joining us. I know you're not, the political nerd that we are, but I really wanted to get a Republican on to talk about Paul Ryan, and I promised you, I'm going to keep my word on this. We're not just going to pointlessly bash. I've got facts, but first I want you to pretend we're independents. Sell us Paul Ryan as VP. Go.
Well, it's hard for me to sell Paul Ryan as VP myself. The only really good thing about Paul Ryan is he's the antithesis of Obama. You can't get less Obama's ideals than Ryan is. So you're going to get the whole debate over Obama's health care. It's nice to grab the guy who literally presented the opposite plan to attempt to go forward from that. I'm not going to sell you Ryan because I don't like him that much, but
well, thank you for being honest, and I just want to be clear. I hope we're not really putting you on the spot. It's just like I said, I just didn't feel right doing this without someone trying to, without some degree of balance, because regardless of whether or not I agree with Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan or not, this is an important story, and it's important for everyone to be heard. And what bothers me about Paul Ryan is, maybe the whole thing about him killing grandma was an exaggeration, but...
Oh, man.
But...
Go on, sorry.
No, I'll grant you that. I mean, I know you're not making that argument. I'm just saying that if you were to make that argument, I would grant you that. It was an exaggeration. But the fact of the matter is that his proposal for Medicare to turn it into voucher support will not keep up with the rise in healthcare costs. Therefore, there comes a time when the coupon, which is basically what vouchers, which premium support. I apologize. Did I say voucher support? I'm so sorry. But there comes a time when the premium support doesn't really support that much. Also, I mean, I've been following this guy for a while now, and well, I've got a clip of him. Let me see if I can find it, talking about his inspiration for what he bases politics on. Take a listen. It's about 1:09.
It doesn't surprise me that sales of...
Oh, before I begin, War, are you hearing that okay?
Yep, I can hear everything.
Wes?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, there we go.
It doesn't surprise me that sales of the Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged have surged lately with the Obama administration coming in. Because it's that kind of thinking, that kind of writing that is sorely needed right now. And I think a lot of people would observe that we are right now living in an Ayn Rand novel, metaphorically speaking. But more to the point is this. The issue that is under assault, the attack on democratic capitalism, on individualism and freedom in America, is an attack on the moral foundation of America. And Ayn Rand, more than anyone else, did a fantastic job of explaining the morality of capitalism, the morality of individualism. And this, to me, is what matters most. It is not enough to say that President Obama's taxes are too big or the health care plan doesn't work for this or that policy reason. It is the morality of what is occurring right now and how it offends the morality of individuals working toward their own free will to produce, to achieve, to succeed, that is under attack. And it is that what I think Ayn Rand would be commenting on, which we need that kind of comment more and more than ever.
Okay, I'm just going to stop it there because I don't think there's anything else. Well, first of all, let's call out the lies in that little thing. Under President Obama, taxes have gone down, not up. Federal receipts, collections of taxes, are at the lowest point they've been since World War II. That is a fact. Second of all, I don't think I want to live in a country based on the worldview of Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand said altruism was a mental disease. Basically because I have empathy and I care about other people, something is wrong with me. So I was saying earlier at the beginning of the show, War, I think that this is the perfect person to run on this ticket. It's basically classic Americana, ask not what your country could do for you, ask what you can do for a country, versus this, we have to pamper the billionaires and the millionaires or they might get scared. I mean, what do you think about his, and I'm trying to avoid talking too much about Ayn Rand because I'm in the process of booking Eric Sapp for next weekend. He did an ad early, I believe it was earlier this year, or it might have been last year, highlighting Ayn Rand and her beliefs. But, I mean, I personally find Ayn Rand's ideas disturbing. What about you? What about you guys? War, why don't you start first? You're the guest. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'll go second. I'm curious what other people have to say first.
Well then, guest co-host, Wes Smith, what do you think?
Well, if we want to talk about Ayn Rand's morality, the use of those three words in a sentence together is laughable. Ayn Rand had a circle of people around her, all of the males, and some of the women of which she carried on extramarital affairs with. Ayn Rand lobbied to get a serial killer, his name evades me right now, Ayn Rand lobbied to get a serial killer out of prison because she was in love with him. And I believe she married him before she died, finally. So, yeah, we want to talk about the morality of Ayn Rand. Give me a break.
Now, when you talk about the serial killer, is that the one who kidnapped the child, ransomed her, got his money, and then returned her to her family in pieces?
Yeah, that's the one.
That is the inspiration for her hero, John Galt. So when someone when one of your conservative friends, and War, I'm going to refer to you as a Republican because I know you're not really that conservative. You know, you're fiscally you're conservative, socially you're probably closer to me. So I'm just going to refer to you as a Republican. Take that as a compliment, if you know.
All right.
But the fact of the matter is that when one of my conservative friends talks about going Galt, my response is hide the women and children. They're coming for them. Because her inspiration for John Galt was this serial killer, and again, Ayn Rand was the textbook case of sociopathy. But again, I don't want to just hark on that because there's so much wrong with this. Well, let's talk about his 1 second. Excuse me. I'm so sorry, guys. Let's talk about Ryan's path to prosperity. The fact of the matter is that this path to prosperity calls for basically it would make two different tax brackets, 25 and 10%, and it would cut. It would basically be a huge windfall for millionaires and billionaires. According to the CBO, the Ryan plan would cause tax collections to fall by $4.5 trillion over the next decade, and would increase national debt unless there were massive cuts in social programs. Basically, the Ryan plan isn't so much a path to prosperity as it is a total shifting of the tax burden from those with the most money to those with the least. I have a chart. Unfortunately, I'm still figuring out how I can show this stuff. I would like to, but basically, the more you make, the bigger a tax cut you got. So why would anyone in their right mind who is middle, working, or lower class vote for Paul Ryan knowing these things about his plan?
Well, that's the major issue, is that even amongst the Republican Party, Ryan is decently split. I don't remember what the approval rate was for his Medicare revamp, but it wasn't even that high amongst my own party.
Well,
but
and remember,
I like the ideas that he's trying to put forward. Not that the cut for the rich, like you're claiming, but more of the idea that Medicare and Medicaid, as it is right now, is going to be such a disastrous hole of money wasting.
But that's not the truth.
Obviously,
that's not true. The CBO says Medicare is perfectly fine. Medicaid might be something else, but there's arguably more people on Medicaid than Medicare. But Medicare is fiscally sound if we would just... There's one real quick way to fix any problems with these two things, and that is to lift
I agree.
Lift the cap. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to talk over you. Go on.
Well, I agree that Medicare and Medicaid works in the fact that elderly people do manage to get the health care correctly. It doesn't work in the fact that it's this under military, it's one of the things we spend the most money on. And as we go forward to the next time when all the boomers start to retire, then it's going to get worse and worse, and it's going to be difficult to support all of that. It'd be nice to at least attempt. You don't have to change everything. I want somebody to actually take a look at it. And Ryan's was what I consider to be a first look. It has way too many problems to go forward. That can't be accepted right now. But at least someone's trying to make a change, or at least propose something to be done.
Let me make it clear. I'm not saying don't change anything. Obviously, we're going to have to look at some things. But he's talking about complete privatization. And you got to remember, I recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you said before, you're in New York State, my fake southern accent. There was that district in New York that was Republican from the end of the Civil War, and the Democrats campaigned against the Ryan plan, and they won that seat. That was earlier this year. So, to be honest, the Ryan plan is just... 1 second.
Look, Mommy, another turkey.
I had to have that clip. That's from Secret and M, one of my favorite movies.
Well, most of New York is Republican. It's the city that's Democratic.
Well, but
if you're out in the boonies where I live, then we're all Republican out here.
Yeah, but you guys are more of the old school Eisenhower Republicans. Is that
Teddy Roosevelt?
Is that a fair assessment, War, in your opinion?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
So, I mean, and like I said, those Republicans I actually like, because I disagree with some of what Eisenhower did. But let's be fair. As John Fugelsang says, and I know I've played you this clip before privately, War, the last Republican to balance the budget and leave a surplus was... someone?
George W. Bush.
War, your guess, please.
Oh, sorry, I'm guessing now?
Yes. Or do you want me to go to Wes Smith? Let's.
Oh, just go ahead and put the clip.
What? I don't have a clip.
Oh, I thought you. See, I thought you were setting up for a clip there.
No. I mean, if you guessed it right, I was gonna say.
Oh, I get you.
Look, okay, it was Eisenhower. Okay, I'm gonna give myself the absolute right thing. It was Dwight Eisenhower.
Congratulations.
And again, I disagree with Eisenhower on his social conservatism because, remember, he's the man who basically signed the bill that said under God was not going to be in the pledge, and I believe that is an unconstitutional endorsement of religion. But beyond that one issue, Dwight Eisenhower was a damn good president. Under him, we did things... we built the freeways, the interstate system, in 8 years. My God, we could do that again if we just would get our head out of our collective ass.
And it's worth remembering also that under Eisenhower, the top rate tax percent was 90%. I mean, in our current system, it's, 33 now, I think?
35, I believe. And keep in mind that when we talk about raising the top tax bracket, we're not talking about going back to Eisenhower levels. We're talking about going back to Clinton levels of 39.5%, I believe. I think there was a point. But it's like 35.
I think it's 38%.
But, look, the fact of the matter is, if you care about the deficit, that's great. That's cool. But let's be adults about this and say we're going to need a two-pronged approach. Yes, we're going to have to make cuts to the government. Guess what? That includes the military. We are spending almost $1 trillion a year just on military.
We're the first nation in human history, in fact, with the recent wars, to enter a war and not raise taxes. Right. First time it's happened in human history.
Well, before we go to break, because we are getting the break, I'm going to play a couple clips from Paul Ryan's speech today. Well, actually, let me see if I can find this. Damn it! Oh, let's hear the first part of Mitt Romney introducing his running mate Paul Ryan. And see, you know what really drove me nuts about this is when I got, I knew when I woke up today I was going to have like 5 hours of show prep to do just to do this story. So here we go. Here is Mitt Romney introducing Paul Ryan.
Today's a good day for America, and there are better days ahead. Join me. Join me in welcoming the next President of the United States, Paul Ryan.
Okay.
The next president?
I can't... Okay. I can't believe he made that gaffe. I'm going to be honest. Can any rational person say Mitt Romney is a serious candidate for office considering all of his gaffes and mistakes?
Well, I mean... that was something silly he said. I wouldn't consider it a big deal. Then although it does sound foreboding now that he's like predicting his own demise or something like that. But
kind of morbid.
Yeah.
He'll be going to
I talked to you when Romney was put forward, and I said right there, as soon as I go, oh boy, there goes our good chances of winning anything.
Well, yeah.
I think there's better people they could have put forward. I think Romney will do decently. He'll give Obama a run for his money, but I can't see Romney pulling a victory out of this.
I'm actually worried. I want to hear what you think about something that I've noticed, is that it seems like the Republican Party is really factionalizing. You have, your Tea Party group who's really geared up on social issues. You have your Eisenhower, fiscal Republicans. And it seems like those two don't really get along that well.
No, they don't.
No, there's not really much unity left in the Republican Party. You've got too much of a difference between the far right and the people who are trying to be a little bit more reasonable. And we just can't even talk to each other anymore.
Let's be honest. When you have people showing up to a Tea Party rally with signs of the president with a bone through his nose, that creates problems for the normal people who otherwise people would have no problem talking to.
So maybe they need to take a little time off and get their house in order and let the grown-ups be in charge for a while.
I will say this. According to Nate Silver of 538.com, well, it's New York Times now, but one second. I'm sorry. I'm pulling up the latest numbers. Remember this. Nate Silver only does money. Or not money. Numbers. He has Barack Obama with a 71% chance of winning election. Nate Silver does not have a partisan agenda. He just crunches numbers.
You're listening to Adam Hebert.
Sorry about that. So there is no agenda there. He is not, he's just saying these are the odds. The current numbers are, before we go to break, I'll read these off. The current numbers are President Barack Obama with a 71.6% chance of winning versus Mitt Romney at 28.4%. He projects that Barack Obama will win 50.9% of the popular vote and 301.2 electoral votes. The odds of Mitt Romney winning are astronomical.
Was that pre or post the vice president nomination?
This was no. This was updated 3/27 Eastern today. These are up-to-date numbers.
Well, that goes to the point. I mean, the Republicans saw those numbers, not those numbers specifically necessarily, but they saw they were on path to lose this election, and that's why we have Paul Ryan, a relatively risky choice.
Oh yeah, Paul Ryan. Sorry.
They had to change it up. They knew
he's a Hail Mary.
Right. Yeah. Well, we got to go to break. We're running along. It is the Green News Report for this break, and I can't believe, Jesus Christ, where are our listeners? We've got two guests and me. This is sad, people. Anyway, this is Mike Check Radio. I'm Adam Hebert. Joining me as a super special co-host, a guest co-host is Wes Smith, Wes Karskadin, and the Hizzy, and of course my Republican friend, my friend War, who happens to be a Republican. We're going to go to break. Green News Report is up next with Brad Freeman and Desi Doyen.
You're listening to Adam Hebert,
a man with breathtaking anger management issues,
on Mike Check Radio. It's Thursday, August 9, 2012.
The last months and the last year were the hottest ever recorded, hottest of all time since they started keeping records. And the news here appears to be, we'd better get used to it.
It's official. July 2012 was the hottest month on record in the U.S. ever.
The water was rising fast Tuesday night, he says. It was up to our necks.
Deadly monsoons in the Philippines.
We all like wind and solar, but you can't drive a car with a windmill on it.
Mitt Romney still running against the wind. The wind energy industry, that is. A major plastics spill in Hong Kong. Plus,
even though the news in Washington may be disheartening because of the denialists in the Congress, truth is that the news in the rest of the country is not so bad.
Bill Clinton on the path to clean energy at the National Clean Energy Summit.
All of that not so bad news and more straight ahead. From BradBlog.com, I'm Brad Friedman.
And I'm Desi Doyen.
Stand by for 6 minutes of independent green news, politics, analysis, and snarky comment.
Folks, I'm no fan of the USDA. A bunch of government bureaucrats sitting around all day inspecting my meat, that's sick stuff.
Oh, don't I know it. This is your Green News Report. Okay, Des, big news this week. July, the hottest month on record in the U.S. ever, but somewhat lost in that news is that the first 6 months of this year are also the hottest on record ever, and the last 12 months have been the hottest 12-month period in the history of the U.S. ever.
I know. I mean, the hits just keep on coming. It is not your imagination. Just one more time, July 2012 broke the record for the hottest month on record ever in the continental United States since record keeping began in the 1800s. That's according to NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. July 2012 also busts the old Dust Bowl record set back in July of 1936. The last 12 months were also the hottest 12-month stretch on record for the U.S., breaking our previous record set last month in June. And it was also the driest month ever, according to NOAA climate scientist Jake Crouch here in an interview with NBC.
Temperatures are warmer, it dries the soil, worsening the drought, and the drought in turn increases the temperatures.
Okay, but are we talking about weather here? This is only in the U.S. Is the rest of the globe experiencing the same type of warming this year?
That's what the critics say. We won't know yet until the data is in after the end of this year. By the way, July 2012, breaking that all-time high record from the 1936 Dust Bowl, also eliminates a favorite criticism from climate change deniers. They used to point to the Dust Bowl record to downplay evidence of global warming today, but they can't anymore. The planet continues to ignore them. In other news, rescue and recovery operations have begun in the Philippines after relentless rains from back-to-back typhoons caused deadly flooding that has killed over 70 people, displaced hundreds of thousands, and inundated the capital city of Manila. The Pacific monsoon season this year has again been unusually intense across Asia, the strongest since 1998, with record floods in China, Taiwan, and the Koreas. The recent typhoons are also blamed for a plastics spill in Hong Kong.
A what?
A plastics spill. Tiny, tiny plastic beads that are the basic materials for all plastics. They're called nurdles.
They're called what?
Nurdles. I know. Nurdles. 6 shipping containers full of nurdle beads were dumped into the Hong Kong Bay during the worst storm in 13 years, and they're already washing up on Hong Kong beaches. Reuters reports that fish in the bay are already turning up dead with their stomachs full of plastic.
Oy.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the globe in very hot and very dry Las Vegas, at the 5th Annual Clean Energy Summit to promote clean energy technology, keynote speaker former President Bill Clinton highlighted the economic boost of clean energy investment even during recession.
Even though the news in Washington may be disheartening because of the denialists in the Congress, truth is that the news in the rest of the country is not so bad. Almost no Americans know that last year the United States surpassed China in aggregate investment in clean energy.
I didn't know that. I thought China was kicking our tails as far as investment in renewable energies.
Oh, they are, but that's government investment. At least private investment in clean energy in America is going much stronger.
From 2008 and 2009, the beginning of this terrible meltdown, because of public and private investments, clean economy sectors grew 8.3%, more than twice as fast as the overall economy, and the jobs created paid well above the average.
Well, okay.
But GOP presidential candidate Mitt Romney has come out against some federal support for clean energy. He is against renewing the federal wind energy tax credit that expires this year. But Romney forgot to tell that to the people of Iowa when he was campaigning there this week. Iowa is a major wind energy state, and those tax credits have helped make them a clean energy leader in the U.S.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Republican governors around the country who are none too happy about Romney's position on this. For more on those stories and others we couldn't get to today, please check out our website at greennews.bradblog.com. While you're there, please consider a donation to help sponsor the Green News Report. We rely on you to help us stay on your public airwaves and keep telling you the truth. From bradblog.com, I'm Brad Friedman.
And I'm Desi Doyen.
And this has been your Green News Report.
You can't drive a car with a windmill on it.
I'm older now, but still running against the wind. Well, I'm older now and still running against the wind.
Hi, friends. This is Tom Hartman.
This is Stephanie Miller.
Hey, this is Hal Sparks. I'm brad Friedman. I approve of Nicole Sandler's RadioOrNot.com.
Radio or not? Radio or not? RadioOrNot.com.
RadioOrNot.com.
RadioOrNot.com. RadioOrNot.com. Hi, this is Kenny Pick from Turn Up the Night. Here are some of the hijinks you can expect from my show.
That right-wing Republican from Texas was only helping Dennis because he thought Dennis would be easier for Joe the plumber to beat him.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, seriously, a pet rock would have been better candidate than Joe the plumber. I think he might actually have been a pet rock before he was a non-plumber. So, but he was a union pet rock, never mind. Turn Up the Night with Kenny Pick, streaming live every Tuesday and Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern at Radio or Not, Talk Radio 1, Progressive Blend Radio, and KennyPick.com.
Look, I'm up to here with cool, okay? I am so amazingly cool. You could keep a sight of meat in me for a month. I am so hip, I have difficulty seeing over my pelvis.
Smarter than Savage and sexier than Limbaugh. This is Adam Hebert on Mic Check Radio.
Oh, my mic was off. We are back. Joining me as always is my co-host, Wes Karskadin.
Hello.
And the other Wes Smith, super special guest co-host.
Oh, hi.
And War, my friend, who happens to be a Republican.
Greetings.
Anywho, well, during the break I had to go get the Howdyland News Bullet. I picked out just the two random ones. But anywho, back to Paul Ryan. We've got we got some stuff to wade through, so let's just, I think I played for you this. I played the gaff. So here's the first two parts of Ryan's speech. I'm sorry to wade right in, but
It's where I was born and raised, and I never really left it. It's our home now. For the last 14 years, I have proudly represented Wisconsin in Congress. There I have focused on solving the problems that confront our country, turning ideas into action, and action into solutions. I am committed, in heart and mind, to putting that experience to work in a Romney administration.
Okay, first of all, that's news to me because last I checked, Congress hasn't done jack shit.
I don't care what party you belong to. We can both agree on that.
You know, but again, that is because the Republicans said following the 2010 elections, we're not going to do anything. We're going to hope I mean, they've said this. This isn't war. I'm not making this up. They've been upfront and frank about this. Their objective has... What the hell? I'm not even on camera. Oopsie. There we go. Their agenda hasn't been about helping the country. In fact, they basically have done everything they can to avoid helping the country. You know, how can... I mean, like I said, I'm not going to pointlessly bash him, but we got to call BS when it's BS. And the fact of the matter is, he and Congress, I mean, he's been in Congress for 14 years. I understand that's some experience. But I did some research, and I could not find any legislation that has passed and become law with his name attached to it. And, of course, that could be because I just didn't have time to find something. I mean, 14 years is a lot of time to go through. But he has no major accomplishments to his name. His budget is a turkey. You know, his budget...
Look, Mommy, another turkey.
He's not even really popular in his home state. He has okay numbers in his district, but statewide, he's not that popular. The General Convention for picking a vice president, correct me if I'm wrong, Moore, is they're going to deliver you a state you otherwise might not get. And I don't see that happening. I don't think Ryan is going to flip Wisconsin blue to red.
Well, that's why they picked them, because they're worried about the national stage, not a single swing state.
War, do you have any thoughts?
Well, Ryan's also a strong... Ryan can galvanize the pure right wing, where Romney is sort of looked at as a joke by them.
Well, doesn't that isn't that part of the problem though?
Ryan is two things that Romney is not. One, he's a staunch right-wing person that can get the thick part of the Republican Party behind him, and two, say what you want, he speaks pretty well, like very well, as a person, which Romney definitely fails at.
I will grant you that.
Yeah.
I will grant you
so
this.
With those two things, if he can be the voice of Romney's campaign while at the same time giving the support of the meat of the party, then I think that's what they were going for when they picked him.
Well, here's the thing, though. Doesn't the fact that Mitt Romney is still worrying about his base show how weak of a candidate he really is?
Well, I think Romney appeals slightly to independents more than his base, which is the issue. He can pick up a few stragglers that aren't Republican, but he didn't have a lot of support, amongst his own party. So I don't know, maybe this makes him slightly better off. It's hard to say.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, we know Romney's going to get a bounce. The question is, how much of a bounce and how long can he sustain it? My prediction is the bounce will be gone by mid-September. That's my if not sooner. Because remember, what's going to happen is the convention, he's going to get a bounce from naming his VP. Then he's going to get a bounce from the convention. But the Democratic convention is the very next week. So Barack Obama, who is currently ahead in the polls, is going to get that same bounce. And Barack Obama's is going to be equal to, or probably, I would say, more than Mitt Romney's bounce. I mean, it's ultimately not going to do him any good from where I stand. Let's listen to the next clip from the speech. And like I said, I apologize. This is all unevenly edited, but I only had like hours to go through all this material. Boy, did I learn a lesson in last-minute production. Anyway, cut 3 from Paul Ryan's speech.
My dad died when I was young. He was a good and decent man. There are a few things he would say that have just always stuck with me. He'd say, "Son, you're either part of the problem or part of the solution." Well, regrettably, President Obama has become part of the problem, and Mitt Romney is the solution.
Now, again, I'm biased. I freely admit that, but I think the opposite of the case. Mitt Romney has not created one job during his time at Bain. In fact, the best he would have done is break even.
Well, and it's also worth looking at, the general trend over the last 40 or so years since the 70s, since Nixon, has been this, laissez-faire, leave it alone economics, deregulation. So he's not changing something. He's continuing to do what we've been doing for 30 years.
Well, we got more from Paul Ryan, but I really want to get this clip. Mitt Romney has made his experience at Bain Capital the centerpiece of his campaign. Vote for me because I've got experience. Well, here's what he has to say about his experience.
I can assure you our campaign would be helped immensely if we had an agreement between both campaigns that we were only going to talk about issues, and that attacks based upon business or family or taxes or things of that nature, that this is diversion.
Are you going to throw out? Are you going to throw out a pledge or something?
I would love to have a setting. We only talk about issues, and we can talk about the differences between our positions and our opponents' positions.
Are you going to formally offer something?
By the way, our ads haven't gone after the president personally. Our ads talk about his record as president and the failure of his policies to create jobs, but we haven't dredged up the old stuff that people talked about last time around. We haven't gone after the personal things.
So what kind of pledge? I'm just curious here. I didn't know we were going down this road. What kind of pledge were you thinking?
I don't have a pledge that I can present to you, but I think it'd be
Sorry about that. So we can't talk about the stuff he thinks qualifies him for office. Actually, I want to say, since I am part of the vast left-wing conspiracy, I actually have, I just received this official response from from the White House. Just 1 second. It's an audio file, and they want me to play this. Because, I mean, this is the official White House response to Mitt Romney's proposal.
I can assure you, our campaign.
I'm sorry, I had to do that. But the fact of the matter is, the bottom line is his business practices, his taxes, his ethics are all fair game when he's claiming those are what qualify him for office.
Well, I think that this was that was recent, right? The first Romney clip.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that was probably made in response to the he's killing grandmothers and the tax issues that had come up. Those type of direct character destruction ads that he doesn't like.
Well, the fact of the
not
matter
an
is,
overarching idea.
Well, the fact of the matter is that every other president since George Romney, Mitten's father, has released at least 10 years of tax returns. Mitt Romney won't. What is he hiding? What is he hiding?
Okay, all right, hang on just 1 second, because I've wanted to say this to every single Democrat that's had this thing. Do you guys see no parallel whatsoever between this argument of this tax thing that is hidden, where's the tax files, and the argument that was made earlier about Obama, where's his birth certificate? Does no one see the correlation between these two things and being ridiculous?
But the difference is, yes.
Hold on. 1 second. Everyone step back. Chill the fuck out. I've got this. Yes, there is a difference. One was based on falsehoods. The birther theory has been repeatedly proven false, and guess what? Barack Obama laughed all the way to the bank on that because he made Donald Trump look like a fool in front of the entire fucking country. Here's the thing. Barack Obama's birth certificate was always out there to see. Mitt Romney is not putting his tax returns out there to see. The one tax return he's released so far is incomplete. I'm sorry, War. There's no comparison between the two. I've got to call you out on that. I'm not nothing personal, but
all I think is that Romney is going to eventually give his tax return, and it's going to look as foolish for the Democrats for going after this ghost issue as it was for the Republicans with the birth certificate.
Yeah, if he releases it and everything seems to be on the level, then I will be the first to step back and say, well, fair enough.
Well, obviously it's not, or he would have. I mean, which of course is the same argument that Tea Partiers made about the birth certificate.
Well, yes, but he did release the birth certificate, not long after.
Look, I mean, okay, I agree that the birth certificate issue was a more ridiculous issue. It was. There was less ground to even have the argument. It was just a complete fabrication in every way. However, I think War's got a point. It is a pretty cynical political ploy, particularly by Harry Reid. The Democrats are playing politics on this. That said, it's competent politics. It's from the Karl Rove playbook, and it's not great, but I can't say it surprises me, except insofar as the Democrats are actually being effective.
The thing with me is that even if he releases his tax return and he did everything legally, you're going to see how much he made versus how much taxes he paid. If that's accurate, he's still going to come across looking like a dick, because when you put those two numbers next to each other, it looks like he's paying nothing. And those numbers will be able to damage him even if he did everything legally.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, it's stoking a political point. It is.
I'm sorry, Wes. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Wes Smith, I have to disagree with you. It's very relevant. But let me run this scenario by you. Let's say there's nothing in those tax returns that makes them look bad. Wouldn't the best time to release them have been last week when Reid made that claim? He could have. Okay, look at it like this. And I'm putting on my fake Republican hat on. It's on. I'm a Republican strategist, and I'm saying, Mr. Romney, he's made this claim. Release the tax returns and make this man look like a fool. Is that logical? Is that reasonable?
Well, like I said, if when he comes out and he shows you how much money he makes versus the taxes, that's going to be negative for Romney. Even even if everything is legal, those numbers will be replayed all over the place, and he's going to look bad. Instead, from now, he can just call you guys stupid because he paid his taxes. Of course he does, and he can pick out a vice president and have that be more important news, and then brush it under the rug.
Well, and
that's the thing. The what you're talking about earlier with Mitt Romney's, even not any illegal activity with everything paid in full. What we'd be seeing then is a result of what his tax policy would be, what his vision of the tax code is going to be, as a member of the class he's in. And I think that is a negative because it's not a good thing that the rich basically get away with loopholes because they can afford to hire accountants.
Yeah.
That's a cogent point. That's definitely a cogent point, but let's be honest, it's not the one the Democrats would make. That's over the head of the majority of America.
Well, yes.
And look, the bottom line is Mitt Romney pays a lower tax rate than most working class Americans. Working at Walmart, and I made at most my highest paying year was $18,000 before taxes. I paid about 20% on that. Mitt Romney paid 13%. I mean, the fact of the matter is that no one is saying he has done anything illegal. What we are saying is that we're going to see exactly what he does to lower his tax burden. And, I think he's afraid that if he releases these tax returns, all of a sudden, America's going to be pissed and they're going to demand all these little loopholes he uses be closed. I think, I'm going to be honest, I think Mitt Romney is in this solely for the money. I think he's going to give himself a tax cut, take a 4-year vacation. I really believe that. Because he clearly has no ideas to help run this country. We are getting to the top of the hour. As I said earlier, we're having the girls from Alien Adoptables on. 2 weeks ago they did their charity fundraiser. And we're going to have them on for the results. War, if you want, you're free to stay and join us for that. That'll be fun.
Alien who? Sorry, I wasn't aware of who that is.
Alien Adoptables, the people who drew the pictures.
Oh, yes. Okay.
They're coming on at the top of the hour to deliver the results. And if you're interested, please be my guest. We'll have us some fun. I have some comedy to play. Was that me or was that someone else?
That was me.
Okay.
I hit the wrong button.
No, it's fine. I wasn't upset. Did I sound upset? I wasn't upset. But no, are you available to stay on through the next segment?
Sure, I can stay for one more segment.
All right, that's great. Let's get us some results. Let me. All right, so we're gonna go to break. When we come back, the girls from Alien Adoptables will be with us. Let me turn this down just a bit. There we go. And we're gonna talk about a school in Louisiana who is forcing girls to submit to pregnancy tests. We're also gonna play. Now I know War. Wes knows. I'm a huge fan of John Fugelsang. He's got a new web series out called Caffeinated, and we're gonna play his latest one because I just found this hysterical. We're gonna talk about Bill Nye the Science Guy, and we're gonna play some clips from the Sexy Liberal show because let me tell you, folks, I have to share the Sexy Liberal love. And as far as I'm concerned, War, tonight, you're a sexy liberal. You're an honorary sexy liberal. So we're gonna go to break. We'll be back. And I've got nothing. We're going to break.
Word.
God, it's like my brain's that tree and you're those little cookie elves.
Smarter than Savage and sexier than Limbaugh. This is Adam Hebert on Mic Check Radio.
99 Report with Allie McNeil, covering all the issues that affect the 99% and what drives the Occupy movement. Live on Fridays from 2 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/99-report. Podcasts available on the blog, the99report.blogspot.com. And be sure to follow Allie and the 99 Report at Watergate Summer on Twitter. The 99 Report with Allie McNeil, a voice for the majority. Unfiltered truth, news, and opinion. Filter-free radio with Jacob Dean and Skeptical Scott.
You can always go back to Rome and Greece, and let's face it, kingdoms. You know, it wasn't until a couple hundred years ago that we realized that, hey, monarchies don't work. Let's think of another kind of system of governance. You know, it's something a little less hierarchical, if you will, at least concentrated power. Then again, when you're dealing with money, capitalism is about money and the exchange of money, then concentrated power works really well.
Radio or not, and filterfreeradio.com.
The hell? Are you stuck at home on a Saturday night with nothing to do again?
I can't take it anymore!
Then join me, my co-hosts, and my guests every Saturday evening for Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert. Okay. Together we'll discuss the big news of the week from entertainment and politics, talk about the issues that are on your mind, and hey, we'll even talk about general stupidity and jackassery from the American right.
You stupid jackass!
So join me every Saturday evening, 6 to 9 p.m. Central at my Ustream home, Mic Check Radio. Come on in, it'll be loads of fun.
Gee, I sure hope there's a happy ending. I love a happy ending.
Is this thing on? Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
Adam Hebert.
That's right! The head of...
Mic Check Radio.
Why is
Adam Hebert
on your
Radio.
I didn't know. He's on everybody else's. Why shouldn't he be on mine?
You're listening to Adam Hebert and Mic Check Radio.
We are back, and now that I actually hear that liner, I think that one's going to get the act, because it's pretty poorly edited. Anywho, joining me is co-host Wes Karskadden.
Word.
Super special guest co-host Wes Smith.
Good evening.
And War, my friend, our video games Cub Porter / Republican Republican Affairs correspondent, War. Thank you for sticking with us, War. I think the segment's going to be fun, so thank you for joining us.
Yep.
I figured this would be a good palate cleanser. Anywho, we're going to get the girls from Alien Adoptables, stupid alliteration, I hate you, on, and we're going to find out the results of their fundraiser, and I have to say I'm excited to hear this because Wes, I mean we promoted the hell out of this.
Heck yeah.
And you know, last I heard, when I talked to Tenor before the end, she said that even before they got to the third round, they were close enough to where the money from the third round would put them over what they had last year. So
awesome.
Theoretically, they've you know. So anywho, let's get let's get Tenor and Jess on. We're gonna add them to the call. And where is Jess? GC, there we go. Alright. It's gonna be a bit crowded, but bear with us. Tenor, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Nikki, are you there?
No.
Okay. And Jess is still not answering. Oh, wait, no, Jess picked up. Jess, are you there?
Accusations.
Well, first of all, I want to welcome you all back properly. Thank you for coming back. And no, where is it? Daddy. No, I apologize for that. That was the wrong button.
Nice.
It's acceptable.
Do it live.
Fuck it.
This is what I accidentally hit. No, I'm not calling anyone this, but this is the button I accidentally hit.
badass freak.
So I apologize for that. That's my designated clip for Rush Limbaugh. And it suited Sam well. Anywho, so when we talked to you last, it was before the second annual charity fundraiser, and I apologize. Kenny Pick was not available to join us tonight, but he will be. I will be relaying the results to him soon. I have avoided the results like the plague because I wanted to be surprised, and I suspect I will be. Tanner, would you like to get the results while I cue up a drum roll?
Sure.
Tanner, would you please give us the results of the fundraiser, please?
We managed to accumulate $792 this year, all told.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
That is wonderful, and that is over 500. That's almost 600. No, wait. How much?
You got it backwards. We made 500 last year, so almost 300
That's almost
this year.
300 more. Yeah, I'm sorry. Nikki can attest to this math. Not my best subject. But that is excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, as I was telling Wes. And I suppose I should tell you who you're on with. You're on with, of course, Wes Karskadin, my normal co-host.
Word.
You're also on with Wes Smith. We have 100% more Wes. Wes Smith, who is our super special guest co-host.
I feel special.
Hey.
And my friend War, who is here to discuss Paul Ryan.
Yeah, greetings.
So, I mean, wow, 7. And what is that? What goes to what? How much is going to which charity? If you don't mind me asking.
I can get it.
Human.
Okay, sorry.
I've got it up too.
Well, no, you.
So no, you. Would you like me to read it off?
Someone read the damn thing.
All right. No, you. I don't have to. Anyways, Human Rights Watch. We earned a total of $247. For the World Wildlife Fund, we earned $263. And then donations that were put into a pot because no one distinguished which charity they preferred it to go to, we have a total of $282.
That is nice. Very, very good. Wonderful job. And hopefully next year we'll get you some more business. I tried, and it looks like I failed, but...
networking's fine. It's just we're going to give a lot more of a advanced warning for next year.
Yeah. Well, and I think we probably, like on my end, we bit off more than we could chew because we were talking about, doing the promo, and I think that a promo is fine, but it's more appropriate for the sustained effort you're planning for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
So, yes, very well done. Very well done indeed. But yes, I asked them. I asked everyone on for the remainder of the hour because I was like, I've got a couple stories that I think are suitable to the present company, and I also have some funny stuff that we'll be sharing. And of course, sometime in the next 20 minutes, of course, Asshole of the Week. So we're gonna have us some fun. I picked this one story. Hold on. Why am I? Oh, you got a key. I picked this one story because I since we're having Tanner and Nikki and everyone on, I was like, let's do this story. That's not the one I wanted. As you all, I'm sure you at least have heard, because I know you guys aren't the rabid politics nerd that I am. But I'm sure you guys have at least heard of the GOP's, and I'm going to use air quotes, war on women. I think it's very real. But some people, like War, I don't know, I don't know, War, if I'm incorrect, please correct me, may not believe it exists. But I found this disturbing story, and of course it's from the Deep South, where most of you, I think all of you are in the South somewhere.
Which is, of course, better than Ohio.
I've never been to Ohio. Kenny loves Ohio, so I'm not gonna. Don't ask me to choose, please. Don't ask me to choose. The headline is: Louisiana school forces students to take pregnancy tests, kicks out girls who refuse or test positive. Just that headline alone makes me very uncomfortable.
Because if there's one thing we definitely don't want, it's young mothers to be educated.
Not at all, no. How dare they?
No, the way the country is going right now, they don't want any women educated, so that's a good place to start, I suppose.
Fair point.
So, I'm not a very good organizer. I basically highlighted the entire article, which defeats the point of highlighting, but there's no audio, unfortunately. But the Delhi School in Louisiana has instituted a policy that says if you are suspected of being pregnant, you have to submit to a pregnancy test or you will be treated as though you are pregnant. If you are found to be pregnant...
Is this a high school at least?
It is a charter school, so I imagine it is a high school.
Alright.
You know,
it's not as bad as it could be.
That if it were...
It is Louisiana.
Fair enough.
Bad, Wes. Bad! But okay, so if students are pregnant, they are no longer allowed to attend classes on the school's campus and will be forced to either switch to another school or begin a home school program. If a student refuses to take the test, she is treated as a pregnant student and also kicked out. So first of all, and I believe this is patently unconstitutional based on what I learned last semester, but I'm a Japanese student, not a political science major, so take that with a grain of salt. But do any of you guys, and let's let the ladies speak out first, do you see, what issues, aside from the obvious ones, of course, do you see with this policy? Because there's a whole lot of wrong with this policy.
I'm trying to logically figure out why it would be in place. The only answer I'm coming to is it's an attempt to be a deterrent against teenagers getting pregnant in the first place, to encourage the use of contraceptives and so on and so forth, but that's just not the way to go about it.
For one thing, I'm pretty sure Louisiana is abstinence-only education, which is obviously working out great for them if they feel the need to do this.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that the people who made this policy are also not the type to encourage the use of prophylactics. So, I'm going on a limb here. For a second I thought I lost it. War, as our resident Republican for the evening, what are your... Because let me make this clear, first of all. When I've been saying War is Republican. When I say that, I mean more of an old school Republican, as I said earlier. More of the Eisenhower style traditional Republican. War, what's your take on this?
Well, it's obviously stupid. Did the article say why, like, what the school board's stance on it was? At all? Or did they just hush up as soon as the article went out?
No. The thing is that this is a charter school, so they may not be subject to the local school board. I don't know how that works. I will see what I can find over the week, and I will gladly get back to you.
What's happening to the fathers?
Independent schools.
Pardon?
What's happening to the fathers?
Absolutely nothing, I'm sure.
Of course not.
Men can't get pregnant.
I don't know who said it, but someone once said that if men could get pregnant, abortion would be a right,
a sacrament.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sacrament. But I mean, this article goes on to talk about how it violates the laws. First of all, there is Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972, which says you cannot exclude students from any educational programs based on sex. It also violates the Equal Protection Clause of the U.S. Constitution because they're treating female students differently from male students. And there's a due process issue in this as well, and that violates the 14th Amendment. So, aside from it just being morally wrong and indefensible as far as I'm concerned, there are serious legal questions, and of course, God bless the ACLU, they are all over this case like ugly on ape. So let's give them some applause for taking this case. I think it's going to be a slam dunk.
No, Adam, you're going at this under the assumption that a girl student is a person.
Don't you know they're property just like it says in the Bible?
I'm sorry. I'm such an uneducated bastard. What was I thinking?
When they get kicked out of school, do they immediately get stoned, or is that done later?
Well, they have to wait because the baby might be a male, and that would be a real shame.
Right.
Yeah. That's true.
Actually,
So-
probably
You're thinking.
after they get out of school, the first thing they do is get stoned, but that's not the point.
Just for a bit of context, Wes is a proponent of marijuana.
A pothead? Yes.
I was trying to avoid being that blunt, but here's an interesting clip that I found. I was gonna play this last week, but this is actually very timely. Here is someone, as you all know, on August 1st, a rule went into effect, basically saying all insurance must cover contraception without copay. And of course, this is driving the right wing absolutely batshit crazy. And one of the Republicans had, and I forget who said it, I really need to find a better way of labeling these clips, but here is what he said, and,
I know in your mind you can think of the times that America was attacked. One is December 7th, that's Pearl Harbor Day. The other is September 11th, and that's the day of the terrorist attack. I want you to remember August the 1st, 2012, the attack on our religious freedom. That is a date that will live in infamy along with those other dates. The question is, if not us...
I just love the reaction. First of all, let's put this guy in the penalty box.
Yes, you have the right to your religion. No, you do not have the right to make everybody else play by your religion's rules.
Exactly. That's the thing.
It's like that First Amendment argument. I have the right to free speech. Yeah, you have the right to free speech. You don't have the right for no one to disagree to you.
Thank you. Oh. It's like that Chick-fil-A thing. I've got a friend on Facebook, Wes, you know this. Armin Martin, nice guy, Republican, well, conservative. He's not the old school Republican that War is. But he's in here, he's saying it's a free speech issue at Chick-fil-A. I said, no one is saying Dan Cathay, or is it Kathy or Cathay? I hear
Kathy.
both. Thank you. No one is saying he has no right to say that. Republicans are for what they want is freedom from the responsibility of the consequences, from the responsibility of what they say. So if they say, for example, something that leads to Matthew Shepard getting beaten to death because God hates the gays, they don't want to admit and say, you know what, maybe we need to stop that because people are, getting killed. Excuse me. I just love that reaction, though. Everyone at the same time is like, what?
I personally like to take solace in the fact that every time my girlfriend puts in an IUD, it makes some Christian somewhere lose faith.
I thought
like, it's attacking Christians through the vagina.
I thought IUDs were off the market, but...
They're the best. But anyway...
Just as an aside, that was that crazy, insane quote about 9/11 was from Representative Mike Kelly of Pennsylvania.
Thank you very much, Cub reporter Wes Smith. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry. I'm still. My mind cannot quite comprehend how no copays on contraceptives to prevent more welfare babies doesn't make sense.
Okay.
That might be extremely harsh to say. I know it's a religious-related thing, but
I can explain this.
Not to mention comparing it to Pearl fucking Harbor and 9/11 is just one of the most offensive things I have ever heard.
The rhetoric is extreme. I'm not saying I agree with this, but I do know the argument that's used for it, which is total bullshit, is that basically what really came back to was the Catholic Church and their stance against contraception. So their reasoning is that Catholic employers, like Catholic hospitals, such like that, would be forced to provide through their insurance that the birth control. That's the logic. It's stupid, but there you go.
Oh, that's just the cover-up reason. We know what the real reason is. If there's more contraceptives in the world, less little boys will be born.
Plus, people will get laid more, and then people will chill out, and everybody will be happier, and there'll be less wars, and then what will the right do?
Oh my god.
Exactly like if we legalize pot. Not to mention the
Amen.
insane amount of tax revenue would get out of that.
Yeah. Well, prohibition doesn't work. We learned that during the original prohibition. When something
evidently we didn't learn it.
Well, I did. Anyway, I have this to say to Representative Mike Kelly.
You are the leading asshole in the state.
And the country!
And he's not even asshole of the week.
Oh no! Oh no! We actually, you know what? Let's get this over with. Otherwise, we're gonna run long on the break.
Well, Adam, knowing that you learned it from Prohibition, I must say that you look really good for your age.
Let me rephrase. Let me rephrase. I learned it from my understanding of Prohibition. How about that?
Which we all got from Sean Connery, of course.
What are you? I can't do Sean Connery. I'm sorry. But anyway, let's. Oh no! Wait, that is the wrong thing. I had the ending.
He brings a gun. You bring a knife.
All right, so here we go.
Vice versa.
Who is he? He's an asshole, sir. I know that. What's his name? Asshole. Major asshole. I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes. Were you born an asshole?
Asshole?
Or did you work it your whole life? Either way, it worked out fine. 'Cause you're an asshole tonight. How many assholes we got on this ship?
Sorry, I had to cut that short because we were kind of running. All right, so as I've said before, my philosophy, most of the people we nominate as assholes of the week are people who have long-running history of being assholes. Let's be honest here. But in order to be picked as our asshole of the week, you have to do something really, really stupid. And our asshole of the week, Mr. Jim Rode. They need to start including pronunciations in this. Because I don't have audio. I looked high and low, but this guy has a...
well, it's not like most of these people's
It's
fans
Roddy.
can read anyway.
Yeah,
Pardon?
point. But yeah, it's Roddy, I think.
Roddy, okay. Well,
Yeah,
damn, now,
like
now
Roddy Piper.
I was just about to say, it's just like, I've come to chew
He has
bubblegum.
come to chew bubblegum and be an asshole.
And he forgot his bubble gum. So he's at this big dinner party for the GOP where they're bashing Obama and making fun of liberals, standard operating procedure for the soirees. And I really wish I had audio for this. You're just going to have to bear with me reading this. He said, there was a disappointment tonight. I was very embarrassed. I was in this parking lot, and there was a man looking for a space to park. And I found a space for him. And I felt badly. He looked as though he was in sort of distress. And I said, "Sir, here's a place." And he said, "But that's a handicap space." I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I saw that Obama sticker and I thought you were mentally retarded."
Did he say he saw that outside of their convention?
Yeah, who's the retarded one here if he thought that the guy with the Obama sticker was outside of their event?
You stupid, ignorant son of a bitch, dumb bastard!
Well, lying is probably
Christ, I
so
met some
second
dumb
nature to him, he
bastards
doesn't
my time,
realize
but
he's
you
doing
outdo them
it.
all.
I mean, dear God, can we not just disagree to disagree? Do we have to insult each other? I will admit, I say stupid things when I get pissed. Nikki can back this up. She's known me for 12 years. But at least I make an effort, and I don't plan to say stupid shit. This guy clearly planned this speech out. Somewhere he thought, it's gonna be a great idea if we call people who disagree with me retarded. I mean...
No intelligible comment on this end.
I mean...
Think Sarah Palin's gonna get pissed at him?
Ooh, good one. Good point.
You know what? Oh, crap, I'm in my insults box. Damn it! Thank you. Good call, Wes. That's the thing. They have selective rage. If I say, for example, Rush Limbaugh, you are...
Fat-ass freak!
Oh my god, it's like I dropped a nuclear bomb. But when Rush Limbaugh says Barack Obama is an egotist, this coming from a man who speaks into a golden microphone, that's okay. I mean...
in his defense, that's only because the Golden Throne hadn't become available yet.
All right. War, you have to stay for the rest of the show for the funny. I want to, I'm sorry. You're making me laugh here. So anyway, we're gonna get the break. Just remember, everyone, War, please, like I said, if you could just stay with us. You don't have to shut off your mics. I recommend it though. The break is about 5 minutes long. Just use that to kind of gauge, if you need to do something, that's fine. Darn it. I need to do a better way of music. But anywho, we will be back, and we'll see you at the end of the break.
I think we're all indebted to
Adam Hebert
for clearly stating what needed to be said. I'm particularly glad that these lovely children are here today to hear that speech. Not only was it authentic frontier gibberish, it expressed a courage little seen in this day and age.
This is Mic Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
It's the HowdyLand.com News Bullet with Stan Douglas. Go to HowdyLand.com and click on the Funny Times special offer to receive your free sample issue today.
A trial program involving the suspension of all public education in Alabama has gone terribly wrong as unemployed teachers fight their former students over hard-to-get jobs in the private sector. Former middle school geography teacher Bradley Dixon was arrested earlier today after a bitter confrontation with his ex-pupil Janie Sue Gramley outside a local catfish processing plant where both sought work.
Hey, just because Janie's 12 and doesn't legally have to be paid minimum wage is no reason for her to be hired over me. I can lift more dead fish than she can any day of the week.
And the National Security Council was called into emergency session today when Vice President Joe Biden's login and password to the LL Bean online store were posted on WikiLeaks. The breach was discovered shortly after 12,000 cable knit sweaters were delivered yesterday to Biden's home in Delaware, Maryland. This HowdyLand.com News Bullet will be standing outside in the lobby to sign the back of your head with an indelible head marker. I'm Stan Douglas.
This is Mike Check Radio with Adam Hebert.
All right, let's auger this baby in with some funny. Well, joining me, held over from the previous break, is War. Thank you for sticking around for the remainder of the show, War. I of course, really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Super special co-host, Wes Smith. How have you enjoyed playing co-host for 3 hours, Wes?
Invigorating, at the risk of repeating myself.
That's great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And usual co-host, Wes Skarsgården, as I proclaimed him, the most badass co-host in liberal talk radio. Wes Skarsgården.
Someone left their mic on mute.
Tweet, tweet, tweet.
Man.
And of course, Tenor from Alien Adoptables. Nikki from Alien Adoptables.
Hi.
And Jess from Alien Adoptables.
I'm not actually here.
This space for rent. I just feel like it's a Mystery Science Robot roll call.
I call Crow.
I'm Tom Servo.
Damn.
I'm the shortest anyhow.
I'm Cambot. Screw y'all.
So what does that make me? I guess that makes me Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
No,
we can have
Jesse.
Mike and Joel.
Oh, cool. I can be Joel.
I guess that works.
Projector. That's about as good as I'm for.
Okay.
Can I be the spaceship?
The Satellite of Love? Sure, I guess. So, okay. I want to play. I've been sitting on this for 2 weeks. We've got to get this done. And I've been waiting for this.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill Nye is not known for his politics, but he has been a powerful advocate for climate change sciences, for education. And a couple weeks ago, he came out and he had this to say. I'm sorry? Did someone say something?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
That's not it. And he had this to say.
This is the most important election of my life. And I believe we're at a crossroads, a turning point. We can either move forward, especially in education, or back. I think voters have a clear choice, so I'm supporting the president.
All right, in response to that, there's only one thing we can say, and that is...
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Mitt Romney has lost the nerd vote. It's over. I'm going to make this prediction. Mitt Romney loses the nerd vote. But, I mean, obviously it's not like this is a game changer. And I just want to make it clear, we did reach out to Carmen Sandiego for comment, and she was unable to join us.
Hard to find.
Yes, very hard to find. She is as elusive as Robert Denby.
But she always leaves those sultry recorded messages.
We're working on a booking. I will keep you informed.
Did you at least get your backup Waldo?
I'm sorry. Yes, we will. We are working on nailing the exclusive Carmen Sandiego interview, and I'm going out. I don't know for sure. I suspect she's a Romney supporter. Just saying. So yeah, I'm. It's nice to see that. I mean, let's be honest. The usual impulse on the right wing is whenever someone who's famous comes out and disagrees with them, their response is shut up and sing. But if you're Ted Nugent, you can say whatever you want, But I'm.
Sorry.
Unless we never forget the Dixie Chicks.
Oh yeah.
Well, and let's all be completely honest. The entire vote of the nation will be decided with who Princess Celestia sides with.
My vote is still with Giovanni.
I am.
Protect America from devastation.
Unite the people within our nation.
Okay, you know what? I've got to find a way to. You know what? Kenny and I have to collaborate. We have to do that. We have to do like a fake political ad. I'm Giovanni, and I approve this message. But no, I mean seriously. Well, what are your reactions to this? I want to keep some semblance of order. War, why don't you give us your reaction to this? As our Republican on panel tonight. War.
Oh, that time I muted my mic. I'm
Is this thing on? Tap, tap, tap.
I didn't even have anything good to say. Now I feel like an idiot.
You made me unmute my mic for nothing, you bastard!
Anyway, what were we talking about?
Jeez, you're gonna make me. Okay, Bill Nye had this to say.
This is the most important election of my life, and I believe we're at a crossroads, a turning point. We can either move forward, especially in education, or back. I think voters have a clear choice, so I'm supporting the president.
I apologize. I know the audio quality is poor, but basically, here's the thing. If you look at the Ryan plan, and let's be frank here, Romney picking Paul Ryan as his running mate means he's getting behind the Ryan plan. Cut spending on education, eliminates Pell Grants, which is what most students, get. He's going to eliminate survivors' benefits. I mean, he's going to basically make it impossible for someone of lesser means to go to college. So, I mean, I'm with Bill. I think this election is probably one of the most important, especially in terms of education.
Wait, Adam. A Republican doesn't want poor people to go to college? What kind of mad world are we living in?
Yeah, really? Who's going to go to the army then?
Inconceivable! Is that what you were trying to say?
Hey, you know what? Rick Santorum told us that college is for snobs.
Well, I mean, I'm going to college. Am I snobby?
Yeah,
snob. Yeah, snob.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess
by the Rick Santorum definition.
I guess I'll have to put myself in the penalty box. Wes, you're in charge. No.
Power.
But what do you think, Tenor?
Shit.
I'm sorry. I'm not.
Brain died. Honestly, just the way Romney thinks in general, I'm really terrified if he gets even 20% of the votes.
Well, unfortunately, he's
so anything in general from there just should label how I think.
Where the hell is that thing? Where did I put my? Okay, so again, kudos to Bill Nye, and again, we will try and get the Carmen Sandiego interview. So, okay. I want to play this because as everyone here probably knows by now, except maybe Wes Smith, I am a huge fan of the Sexy Liberals. Stephanie Miller, Hal Sparks, and John Fugelsang. And John Fugelsang has started a new web series called Caffeinated! And this is going to be a little long clip, but I couldn't find a way to cut it and make it as funny. So we're just going to go whole hog. Here's what he has to say about the Kardashians.
So, if I had a time machine, do you know what I'd do? I'd go back and stop OJ from killing those poor people. Because if I did that, then nobody would ever know what a Kardashian was. You don't need to keep up with the Kardashians, okay? You can just slow down and watch that train wreck as you gently pass by. I'm not actually talking about the real flesh and blood human Kardashians. I'm sure in real life they're smart, evolved, moral, spiritually complex, and deep people. I'm talking about the self-absorbed, materialistic twits they play on their fake reality show. And I say fake reality show because there are Civil War reenactments that are less staged than this turgid Dreckfest. And I know what you're thinking here. You can't talk about Kardashians without mentioning Socrates, because it was Socrates who said, the unexamined life is not worth living, but the over-examined life will eventually get their own reality show about shopping, pouting, and emasculating the testicles off of Bruce Jenner. I paraphrase, but you get the idea. I like this show, and I really do like it, because the Kardashian success proves something very important to young women all across the world, that anything is possible as long as you're born into an insanely wealthy family and you make a sex tape with Ray J. Now, in a perfect world, I gotta say, I wouldn't know who any of these people are. But sadly, I am human, which means I need to eat to live. And when you need to eat, you go to the supermarket, and if you decide to pay for food at a supermarket so you don't starve, you will look at the magazines to your left and know all about these superficial meat puppets lobotomizing the collective brain of a once great republic.
I just have to say, before, I just love how first of all, the inappropriate...
Like if you give a mouse a cookie and hold a glass of milk.
I love how he's gradually losing it as this goes on, and there's more.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he's just, like I said, he's a brilliant comedian.
Millions landed next to a newsstand in America, they would be forced to conclude that the Kardashians are the most important people in the world. And they talk about themselves, and they shop, and they talk about themselves, and travel where they shop, while fighting and talking about themselves. And then an Olympic champion shows up, has his testicles removed by his wife without actually realizing it just happened. Am I missing any details about the average episode? You got the sisters, right? And then you got the brother, that waste of donor organs. He's got 3 million followers on Twitter, okay? 3 million. In his life, Van Gogh sold 3 paintings. 3 million fans, 3 paintings. Now, their father, may he rest in peace, was part of OJ's defense team, which is the only reason they're famous. We can admit this, right? Now, if you know more about the Kardashians than you knew about your own family members, you are the problem. And if you can name more Kardashians than you can name Supreme Court justices, my friend, you are a barnacle on the dinghy of democracy. Thomas Jefferson said, Americans get the leaders they deserve, but I'm gonna say this now, if we get the reality shows we deserve, then my friends, we are deader than Lamar Odom's NBA career. So remember, you don't need to keep up with the Kardashians. You need to get the away from the Kardashians. Let me hear you say it.
And it cues to this scared-looking boy.
Get the away from the Kardashians?
Say it again!
Get the away from the Kardashians.
All right. You're a good kid. Oh, crap, I think your parents are home. Listen, dude, I was supposed to have your teeth brushed and in bed like 2 hours ago. Remember what I told you, all right?
Okay.
And seriously, bro, please tell your parents I'm the best sitter you ever had, okay? I need this gig, man. Hook a brother up, all right? We good?
Okay.
All right, word. Wu-Tang in the house. Go, go, go. Losers.
I'm sorry. I had to share that.
Dear Lord.
You have to see it. Just the look on that kid's face. He's like, get the, yeah. He's a gifted comedian, and I was like, you know what? That's our palate cleanser tonight. Of course, the series is Caffeinated with John Fugelsang, and I believe the new episodes come out every Tuesday. So, there you have it. Oh, we're almost out of time.
Oh no!
I know. I want to point this out real quick. I did this plug last week and I really screwed up. And I'm gonna do this right. I recently found out one of my good friends, Robert Wood, will be getting published. One of his stories published this September 1st, and if everyone would please go check it out if they can. I'm still working on getting details about, do you have to pay to read it, blah blah blah, but here are the details. The story is called Playing in the Dark. It will appear in the summer issue that will be released September 1st. The magazine is called Underneath the Juniper Tree, and it's an online, non-profit children's horror magazine. So please, if you can, when that comes out September 1st, get it! Support my friend, because we're all about, promoting my friend's works here. And of course, pointlessly bashing Republicans.
We need more children's horror magazines, honestly. Kids don't have an appreciation of good horror.
That actually does sound kind of amazing.
How many kids... I mean, I didn't hear about H.P. Lovecraft until I was about 25.
Okay, here's a little nice sidebar story that's a news story from a while back, but this you'll understand this one. Did you know they're re-releasing the Scary Stories books without the art?
Oh no! That was
what the fuck?
What?
Hi.
Scary stories?
You never
Too
had
scary.
scary stories to tell in the dark?
I have.
No, I
have. We have a full collection around here somewhere. I'll dig it up for you.
I remember.
Jess, I can read some to you now. I've got like both the books right here. All three of the books.
But the whole point is the art.
Oh yeah, that too. But why?
Because
somebody hates children.
Okay, kids are more willing to accept horrible, scary things than adults are. I know this because I've run a haunted house horrible thing out of my garage for years. What happens is any kid under 5 waltzes through with a smile on their face, and then as you get progressively older, you get scared, and then you get your 40-year-olds, and if you jump out at them, they scream like little girls. Young kids, they need to be exposed to this stuff so you don't get a 40-year-old that's screaming like a little girl because you pop out at them with a mask on.
There's a thesis paper in this.
And I will say this: I do scream like a
Nicely
little girl.
done, Jess.
So, I do scream like a little girl.
Yeah.
So important public service announcement. Thank you, Jess.
Yay.
But no, I mean, let me tell you this. Robert and I go back about, Jesus Christ, 6 years. And we used to do a writing exchange. And, I mean, he always was better than me at writing. And he's a lot of the reason why whenever someone asks me how I feel myself as a writer, I would say, I'm mediocre at best. But I mean, this guy is good. Please, even if it, I don't know if it costs money. It's a non-profit magazine, so the cost would be minimal. Please support Robert. He is an excellent writer. He wants nothing more than to devote his life to writing, and I keep leaning on him to come on, and he keeps saying no. He's very shy, and I told him, I said, if you become a professional writer, you're gonna have to promote your work.
It's like a poor man's version of plugging your book on The Daily Show.
Exactly.
Indeed.
And but no, of course I wish him, and I'm sure anyone else here does, the best of luck in this, I'm sure it's good. And it just makes me muse. I don't even know, I don't know if I'm going to read it just because it's probably going to make me very depressed to realize how bad I've gotten when it comes to writing. So, but seriously, he's very good. So, please support my friend. I'd appreciate it, and I'm sure he would too.
Hooray!
So,
Hooray!
Into it.
Hmm?
I said I'll look into it. Goosebumps doesn't have the fan club thing anymore where you get it sent to your house every month, so I need something for my kid.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't know much about this. I've never heard of Underneath the Juniper Tree. I do know that I experimented writing children's horror a couple years ago, and the results were okay, but went largely unnoticed. So, but no, he does well. He does well writing, and of course we wish him all the best. So, before we start winding down, Tanner, can just for the benefit of any latecomers, I don't think anyone's actually there, but let's recap the results of the fundraiser, shall we?
All right. You want another drum roll or just announce it?
Let's just say it. We'll
All right. For the charity drive that Alien Adoptables performed, we've managed to accumulate $792 total for our two charities.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Which is almost $300 over what we had made last year.
That's yes, wonderful. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is definitely not another turkey. I've been playing. Nikki will know this clip. I've been using this tonight a lot because, well, to describe Paul Ryan.
Look, Mommy, another turkey.
But that is not another turkey. That is excellent. So congratulations. And let me tell you this: when it comes next year, I will promote the hell out of you. And
hooray!
So we'll have you all on again. We'll do this again, and we will, kick ass, take names, and what was it that Worf said in that that baseball episode, Wes?
Crush the opposition.
Thank you. Yes, crush the opposition. All right.
The opposition apparently being animals that don't get proper care. But
all right. We gotta do the plugs and then parting shots. So please, check out our other affiliates. I'm just gonna go whole hog and call them affiliates. If you promote us and we promote you, we're affiliated. Therefore, you are an affiliate. Please check out USA Progressive with Ray Medeiros. On Mondays, 7 to 9 Eastern, Filter Free Radio with Jacob Dean and Skeptical Scott. Wednesdays, 7 to 10, Talking Left with Shano and Danielle. Of course, every Monday through Thursday, 10 to noon Eastern, The Nicole Sandler Show. Thursdays, 10 to 11 p.m. Eastern, The Shannon Files. And of course, Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 to 10 Eastern, Turn Up the Night with Kenny Pick. And the weekend edition is now being rebroadcast every Sunday on WVKO Columbus, Ohio, from 5 to 8 Eastern. And of course, don't forget to check out The More Me Show, Sundays, 5 to 9 Eastern, and of course, Left Wing radio stations. I think that's all. That's the full laundry list of people who help us and promote us. So, parting shots. War, you've been here. You've been generous enough to stay with us. Give us your parting shot, please, sir.
It was a good time. I got nothing to say.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. Jess, parting shot, go. I'm just.
I always
breaking
manage
down.
to say something much more offensive than I meant when I come on here, but I had a good time.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Tanner, parting shot, go.
Thank you for having us here. It's been lovely. I apologize for coughing in your microphone all day.
No, that's fine. I hope you feel better. Nikki, parting shot, go.
Again, thank you for having us.
Not a problem.
I'm distracted because I'm looking at My Little Pony t-shirts, but
Phenomenon.
Thank you for the Thank you for the time spent promoting us and the opportunity to come on here. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
And it's been a fun time.
Like I said, we'll do it again next year. It's probably pretty much the same format, but I'm assuming Wes, unless one of us dies, Wes, you better not kill me to take over. We'll be on the air next year to be able to help. So, where were we? Jess. Wes Smith, parting shot, go.
The election just took a major turn with Romney selecting Paul Ryan, because up to now, Romney's basic message has been America, freedom, and I'm not Obama. But he has now tied himself to Paul Ryan's blueprint for the country. That's not a good blueprint, but it is a fairly specific plan. So I think we're actually going to get, against all odds, an election based on real issues, which isn't to the Republicans' benefit, in my opinion.
All right, thank you. Wes Karskadin, parting shot, go!
So a theory that I once read is that as the media age increases, as more and more information is readily available, things like elections and public events will get much more extreme and much more insane every year. So my question is, when are we going to get the Paul Ryan look-alike themed porn?
Oh my god. and as
give me 20 minutes in Google.
Oh. Brain bleach, please.
I don't have brain bleach, but we can put her in the box. Oh dear God.
Oh,
Better call
Paul. No, I agree with you, Wes Smith, in that this is a major. I'm going to give my parting shot. This is a major turning point because, again, Romney is now marrying himself to an idea. The best part is this is a very, very unpopular idea. No one likes the Romney plan. The Republicans tried to run on it, and they lost a district that has been Republican since the fucking Civil War. Let's put that in perspective.
Not just any Civil War, mind you.
Well, sometimes marriages are arranged and bad things happen.
And as I said earlier with War, I think that this is an indication of his ultimate weakness as a candidate because Ryan is a wet kiss to his base. Here's the problem with that. When you're this far along, your base should be sewn up. If he's appealing to his base, he's got serious issues. And I'm with Nate Silver. Nate Silver has him, I said this earlier, Nate Silver has him at 71.8% chance of winning. I think it's actually higher, but Nate Silver's numbers are generally very good. So I think we're going to have a second Obama term, and hopefully we're going to get rid of these teabaggers in the Congress. I'm not super optimistic about that, but I mean, I think we're going to see the Republican majority get whittled down, but it's going to take one more election term before we change that. So, just a reminder, we will be off the air for the week of the 25th. I will be moving back to Illinois to attend college, and Wes will be out of town. So we're gonna take us a short break. We will be back on September 1st, probably with a union-themed special in celebration of Labor Day. Oh wait, I forgot. We don't have many people who are fans of unions. I'm sorry, Warren and Nikki. I probably should have thought that through a bit better.
I have no problem with the concept of unions. It's just the immense abuse that they are used to. And anyway,
that's a subject for then.
Yes. I'm sorry, War.
Labor Day's a crock because all the restaurant and retail people have to work, so the white collars can have the day off and go shop.
No kidding.
Wes knows. All right. So we're going to I'm tongue-tied. We're going to have to wrap this up. People, don't hang up. We'll do a little bit of after show unless everyone really has to go. I don't know what everyone has, but I thank you all for listening. All of our 2 people. Wes, we got to do something. Anywho, we're gonna go. Have a nice week, and we will see you next weekend. Hopefully, Eric Sapp will be joining us.
Time for go to bed. Aye, it is late. Shall we retire?
Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye to you all. I'll never forget you. Live in peace.
Goodbye, all. Stay happy and good luck.
On our way to great adventures.
Get out of here! Disgusting worm!
Push the button, Frank.